Speaking of metaverses, we've talked a lot about Facebook, of course, now called Meta, continuing their expanse and their march towards their own metaverse and getting that IOI from Ready Player One vibes from them. Of course, I actually listened to an older interview a couple months ago, with Tim Ferriss on the Tim Ferriss podcast with Mark Zuckerberg, and man, I gotta say, like, love him or hate him, if in a vacuum when you're listening to that guy talk, like, he is a very smart and very convincing person, right? Like, it's just one of those things that, like, you know, he speaks so eloquently and so long term focused on these things that you gotta believe that he knows that this is a direction he wants to be going in. Of course, even just rebranding to Meta, but as of today, Instagram, we've talked about this a lot in the past, will be incorporating NFTs onto their platform. We've often talked about Instagram being not only the perfect platform for this, with just pictures, a lot of content creation from independent users and whatnot, but also one of the most hostile places towards NFTs, right? If it's not a NFT focused page, if you have a content creator that's jumping into NFTs, typically, by and large, the narrative around it is, oh my God, not you too, right? Like, the only person that seemed to be immune from that narrative was Justin Bieber when he posted his Bored Ape, and everyone's like, Biebs, you're so cute. Like, but other than that, like, everybody hates it, right? Hates it. Meta, not afraid of doing that. So as of today, you're going to be able to connect your digital wallet, including, where's those lists of them? Rainbow, MetaMask, Trust Wallet, Coinbase Wallet, and Dapper Wallet is coming soon. They're going to be supporting ETH, Polygon, and Flow. Flow being the recipient of a massive run-up on this announcement, up 33% today, and it just took like a straight line up on that.
Straight up.
On that news, right? So great trade if you're holding on to Flow. But yeah, I mean, they're going for it. They're going for NFTs, and there's a lot of discussion about how far they'll take it, right? You'll be able to share your NFTs in your stories, in your posts, so that all your friends can laugh at you for how much you've lost on them in the last 2 months. But the next obvious step is, of course, minting and creating NFTs on their platform, being able to support creators through buying those NFTs and holding them. Instagram integration is going to be pretty key for this. I'm kind of excited for it, but I'm also not in a rush to connect my wallet to Instagram just yet. So I'm not advocating that anybody does this.
Like my two main thoughts on this one are one, like, how much is this keeping up with the Joneses in the sense of Twitter rolling this out? What was that? Was that beginning of this year or last year? Whatever. Twitter, you can connect
beginning of this year. Yep.
Yeah, you can connect your NFTs and do that whole thing. So I'm curious, are they trying to use this to say, like, yeah, we're doing it too? Like, not that we necessarily want to, but we want to have that feature because Twitter has it. And then the second, which is even bigger to me, is Facebook put out, or Meta, whatever, Instagram put out this huge message earlier this year saying, like, hey, we're moving away from images and we're moving into video. Like, they're trying to directly compete with TikTok, and most NFTs are just images. So I'm kind of like, okay, so, which direction are you going? And now it kind of like, if they eventually, they obviously are going to integrate everything into, the metaverse and the meta and blah, 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 blah. But like, it's kind of like, which is this platform going to be focusing more, towards video and trying to compete with TikTok, or are they going to try to integrate it into their metaverse with NFTs? Or again, are they just trying to have a feature because Twitter has it?
I think a lot of, sorry, Dirty, do you want to jump in there before I go?
I mean, I think this is great for mass adoption. I have zero desire to post my NFTs on Instagram, though.
Agreed.
I don't really collect. Like, it's not something that I just have a ton of desire to do. I don't think it's going to do as well as they might hope, because there's just people who collect. It's just such a small number still. And then on top of that, most people are just trying to make money opposed to actually collect, so they're just going in and out of wallets. So I don't know. It's cool for mass adoption. I just don't think it's going to get a ton of use right away.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you as of how much it's actually going to get used, right? Because at this point, it's only going to be the NFT degens that are hopping on there so that they can post their current collection and whatnot. But I do see this going a long way in reducing the friction towards getting NFTs, right? And I am actually pretty surprised, to be honest with you, that they're using the Ethereum, Polygon, and Flow blockchains rather than kind of creating their own, right? I think that was always, by and large, the speculation, that is, if they were going to do it, it was going to be on their own blockchain that they were using, and really kind of keeping it in house, right? So I'm excited for this in the sense of like the content creators getting on board with it too. Like if they can really reduce the friction of content creators being able to mint and sell NFTs, it's going to have these like really kind of twofold effects. One is it going to get a lot of like really liked people into the game very easily. I think that in Instagram, they will be working towards a lot of like token gated content too. If you are an owner of my NFTs, now you get this extra content. Maybe you can DM me. Maybe I will post things specific to only my token holders, so you get a little bit of behind the scenes access. Of course, we always talk about like, you know, concert access or meet and greets and stuff like that, which would be pretty cool too. But I think that that's a really cool first step towards it. The other thing too is, you know, if you were a staunch supporter of I'm trying to just think of like one specific like Instagram, you know, let's just say like a relatively niche Instagram account. Maybe they have 750,000 followers, which is still big in the grand scheme of things, but not massive like a Justin Bieber or something. Maybe if they launch an NFT project, you know, maybe, you know, 49 out of 50 people just fucking hate it, right? Like they're just like, I wish you weren't doing this. But that one person, to get them in and be like, I really like this person, I really just want to support them, I'm going to do this. Now, all of a sudden, you've got somebody going down the rabbit hole of what else is here? What, you know, how much more meat is on this bone? And I do think that you're really going to get people starting to understand that NFTs are here, like they exist. They're going to be integrated into these platforms that I've used every single day. And it's not just this fringe market that I see these nerds talking about how much money they've made or lost and, you know, pictures of monkeys. I think that this actually just really makes it real to people. And I think that that's going to be one of the biggest things. And now you can have that debate of whether or not you want Facebook, Meta, Mark Zuckerberg to be really at the helm of this. But, you know, in the decentralized settings, there's always going to be those extra options for people to go look towards, and they will find them. It might not be everybody, but I think they will find them. So I'm actually just really intrigued to see what the reception is of this on Instagram, how many people quickly use it, or if this just turns into the Coinbase NFT marketplace where it was like really hyped up and then it was just like, okay, we're here, and everyone's like, yeah, fuck, whatever, we're over it. So yeah, I don't know if any of those like thoughts resonate with you guys. I mean, I'm just not one of those people that are like, the Web 2 businesses can stay in Web 2 and we'll do our own thing. Like, I think we do need it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's great for the overall space. I'm just curious how it goes, see how it gets used.
Web3 people have a tendency to be a little bit of hipsters, you know, like, I liked Web3 before it was cool, right? Like, so,
I just don't use Instagram. Like, the more and more I get involved in the Web3 space, I just feel like the less and less I've used Instagram. So maybe this brings me back. That's I don't know, but I use Instagram for my like personal account, and everything else, all of my other socials are like my pseudonym DRTYMLK. So and they don't cross, like nobody that follows me from really my real, like my personal life follows me in my Web3 life. I've, for some reason, just not intentionally kept them separate, but it's just going to happen that way. So I spend so much time here that I don't know how much time I'm spending there, but we'll see. Bring me back.
Drip, is that the same for you? Like, you keep your socials separated, and I mean, obviously you use a pseudonym.
I use the same pseudonym everywhere, but like, I don't really do anything on socials. Like, I've never been that guy. Yeah, it's not really going to change anything for me. I mean, I use my BGAN as my profile picture on Instagram, but like, I don't post anything. Rarely. I might post like once a month, if not every couple months. So
does anybody ever ask you about it either? Like, if it's just sitting there, like, no one
cares.
Somebody asked me about your PFP once, actually.
Yeah.
About
Our
mine?
friend, no, about Drips.
Oh.
Our friend was like, does Drip have a CryptoPunk? And I was like, no. I had to like explain like what it was, because I was like, that would be like really epic, but
I
it's
wish.
still really cool, but it's not a CryptoPunk. Sorry.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really use any socials besides like Twitter for like crypto and NFT Twitter. But I don't know. All I hear about is how Instagram is just the worst platform now because they're just pushing their TikTok narrative. So
Yeah, the last update that they did too has caused a lot of people, prominent people, to be like, "Can we leave Instagram as Instagram?" Like, I know you're trying to do the Reels thing, and I know you're trying to capitalize on that, but we actually like using Instagram for the fact that it was different rather than like trying to copy it. And I gotta agree with them, because I am actually quite an avid Instagram user. I've curated my feed to be, my news, my sports, not really a whole lot of Web3 stuff, because I get that everywhere else. But I liked logging in and scrolling for 15 minutes, and I felt like I was caught up in the world with a lot of things, right? Now I barely see anybody that I follow, because it's all either ads, sponsored posts, collaborative posts, and whatnot, and it's all video, as you mentioned, right? Like, what are you trying to be? So I'm hoping that there's some pressure there to revert that, because I think that they're going to see, the more they try and be TikTok, the more people are just going to be like, myself included, be like, if I have to use this, I might as well just use TikTok, which is better at being TikTok than Instagram is. So
go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just going to say, maybe that, external push from all of these influencers and users to go back to being Instagram, along with the fact that there's this, I'm putting on the wrong side here, this new stuff that's coming out, in a Web3 sense. Maybe it's going to be appealing to them to continue to operate the way that they did before. Sorry, what were you saying?
I mean, I know they got a, Instagram has to, keep relevant, but yeah, I follow a ton of photographers, and like either not so much on their Instagrams, but more their YouTube channels, because they do like, gear reviews or like technical breakdowns of things, and I really enjoy that, being a photographer myself. But like all of them basically have put out some sort of video saying like, screw Instagram. Like, and ironically enough, a lot of photographers are moving to Twitter, which is becoming like the new photography platform,
really?
which is really interesting. But yeah, I basically just echoing your sentiment, and influencers saying like, can we leave Instagram alone, please?
Yeah.
Or like they're all using those like, kind of gray hat tricks where they're posting, images as videos instead of actual images. And it's just kind of like, okay, so now you just have to gamify the system. So eventually people will probably get punished for that if they're not already, but it's,
I think the big issue is, it's culture. Every social platform has their own culture. Like, even if you go into the comments of like Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, they have like their own language that they speak in. Like the people, it's this full-blown culture, and they're trying to adopt culture by functionality. And I just don't think that it works that way. You're trying to introduce this function that somebody else has, forgetting that there's an entire culture that makes it work. And Instagram just does not have that. It's like that's always been the big joke, like the Snapchat to Instagram joke, like me on Instagram versus me on Snapchat. Like that, there's a reason why that's a joke, and that's a saying, is because of two different cultures and how they're perceived. And if you're just like one day, and in my opinion, TikTok is hands down the best social media app on the market right now, and everybody shits on it, and I totally get it, because they're like, it's 12-year-olds dancing. It's like, well, first of all, the TikTok only shows you what you're interested in, you weirdo. So if that's what you're watching,
love it.
But like, and then like second,
there's the intro clip.
It's just like the functionality of TikTok is just years ahead of, and discoverability on TikTok is years ahead of any other social app right now.
You and I and ASG have talked about it relentlessly, but their algorithm is unmatched. It's insane.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, like it's so dialed, and it's only getting more dialed every day. It's pretty freaking wild.
And that was the big thing that, Instagram doesn't do very well anymore, because you actually can't really go viral on Instagram because there's no real proper discovery mechanisms that a lot of these, like YouTube is the world's second biggest search engine, right behind Google. TikTok, most people, you know, whether you're following people or not, you're just looking at the For You page, right? And you're seeing it, and that you know, the interaction on those posts will you know, really drive the adoption. But I mean, I think we've talked about, you know, social media stuff enough, but like I think that this is one of the first dominoes. I think you will see more of these social platforms continue to integrate them, especially as the technology behind NFTs begins to push and advance.